Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is 50 Ways to Kiss Part 12. It's a little bumpy ahead, so please fasten your seatbelts. Slowly you shook your head. Present Mike just looked at you. Everyone just looked at you. You just looked back. Ready for the shot? Present Mike asked, holding up a pretend camera. No, I hurt my neck in the rescue mission and I really should go now and get it seen to, so if you have no further questions, I'll be... Remove your hand, Yin, Shoto's deep voice said from in amongst the rest of the classmates standing towards the back of the class. No, you shot back at him, with daggers in your eyes as you death stared him down. It's because of you that I'm in this mess, you growled internally, the anger very palpable now. Hand down, Yin, Aizawa stated. Your heart was pumping so fast you thought it was going to explode. Should you disobey your teacher's orders? You hesitated, looking at everyone. Then you slowly let your hands slide down your body and flop to your side, switching you from offense to defense in preparation for the questions about the marks. Oh, you really did get injured, Present Mike said with surprise when he saw the 2 marks on your skin. I'm impressed with your commitment to the skit. We weren't expecting props and makeup. Do you need to go to recovery, girl? Aizawa asked. No, I'm fine, you snapped, a little too angrily. This whole time Shoto was standing there with a self-satisfied smirk on his face, and Midnight looked like she knew. Oh no, she definitely knew. Oh, what an injury, she purred with knowing seduction. I wonder who made... No, you snapped, glaring at her. You were on your last straw, and you didn't care if it meant you were going to go up against a teacher. You were ready to fight now. Pain tingled down your right arm as your quirk activated under the stress of anger, and your glare shifted from Midnight back to Shoto. Wipe that smirk off your face before I wipe it off for you, you growled at him, clenching your right fist tightly, so tight that your nails nearly punctured your palm. Shoto was confused. He had made it known that you were his. He was proud. So why did you look so angry? Tears welled along your lower eyelid, but you held them back. Next, Aizawa barked. Yin, go to recovery, girl. But I don't need go to recovery, girl, he said in a strict voice. And Todoroki, come with me. Oh, now we're both in deep poop, you thought as you unclenched your hand and let it relax, the burning pain subsiding. Avoiding eye contact, you turned to the door and left, heading down the hall but with no intention of going to recovery, girl. You'd gotten halfway down the hall when Aizawa called out to you. Yin, moment, he said in his deep voice. You stopped but didn't turn to face him. It was taking all of your strength not to cry again. Here it was coming now, the lecture. As his footsteps approached you, you turned but with your head down, that pain coursing through your arm again. Aizawa could sense the deep humiliation in you and stood there quietly for a second to let you stew longer. You're free to go to your room. If you have ointment to take the bruising down, then use it. I trust this won't happen again. Compassion? You hadn't been expecting that, and 2 hot tears spilled down your burning cheeks. You nodded at the floor and walked past him to head down the adjacent hall and off to the dorm rooms, but weren't expecting to see Shoto standing just around the corner. He had been instructed to wait there by Aizawa. Sudden reflexive anger made you react, and you threw your left arm out and choked him against the wall, pain rushing down your arm as you unleashed your quirk on him. His body went rigid and a grunt of pain escaped his lips as severe pain disabled his body, the full extent of your quirk being thrown at him. Even though he was under the weight of intense pain, he still reacted and detonated his ice, pushing you away with it so that you lost your grip on him. You humiliated me, you shouted at him, shaking with rage and trying to smash your way out of his ice. Using your quirk on it was useless. Your quirk only worked on things that had pain receptors. You could put anyone in severe pain just by touching them. I want them to know you're mine, Shoto shouted back. Why did you attack me? Enough, Aizawa bellowed, suddenly appearing with his hair on end and eyes glowing red. You burst into tears. It's over! I'm done! You cried. Shoto froze. Even his heavy breathing halted as his eyes widened at you. We're through, you said darkly to him, not looking at him. No one spoke. You slowly looked up, just staring angrily at Shoto while he stared with a bewildered look back at you. What do you mean? He finally asked, walking slowly forward and placing his left hand against the ice that he had encased you in. I don't want to be with you, you quivered out. Aizawa deactivated his quirk so that Shoto could melt you free, and he slowly started to heat the ice so that it would release you from its grip, his gaze falling to his hand and a very blank look overtaking his expression. You could smell his unique scent strongly from where you were, each strand of his white and red hair seeming more intense in colour than ever before. He hung his head more and more as the weight of your words tore shreds from his heart. So many things weren't making sense to him. You said you would be with him forever, and he believed you. He wanted to make you his. He did. He succeeded, but it seems to have been the catalyst for you not wanting to be with him. What was going on? He still loved you dearly. Was there a way that he could somehow share his love with you so that your love for him would refill? He was so deep in thought that he didn't realise that he had managed to melt you out, and you jumped out and ran before he could say anything. Todoroki, Aizawa said in a stern voice, calling the dual-haired guy's attention to himself as Shoto had his head turned to watch you run away. Sir, Shoto asked as he turned to Aizawa. I do not understand what happened. Come with me, Aizawa said, turning and heading for the other door that would lead them to the oval outside. Shoto followed slowly behind the teacher, his mind still in turmoil. He followed his teacher outside and down into the oval. Suddenly Aizawa's binds were around Shoto's wrists and his arms were snatched behind him. Aizawa was no longer in front of him, but behind him now. We're in training now, Aizawa stated in a deep voice. Fight me. As he said his line, he activated his quirk, his hair shooting straight up and his eyes glowing as he kicked one of Shoto's legs out from underneath him and then jumped away. Without the use of his arms, Shoto staggered heavily, trying to yank his way out of his teacher's binds to fight properly, but this was a very unfair fight. What are you doing? Aizawa barked. Fight back! He jumped forwards and gave Shoto a sharp smack on his chest, sending the boy back on his ass in a second, sliding backwards on the grass a little. Shoto coughed a few times and rolled over, getting his knees under him so that he could get back up again, but Aizawa had already stomped on the middle of his back to flatten him out, and Shoto spluttered out a few more winded coughs. This is unfair, your man said darkly, trying to look up at Aizawa. Is it? Aizawa taunted. I don't think you're trying hard enough. Aizawa still had his quirk activated and Shoto couldn't use any of his powers, making him feel more and more frustrated by the second. How are you feeling right now? Aizawa asked as he kicked Shoto's leg out again as the boy tried to get up. Angry, Shoto replied, his nose scrunching as he got more and more irritated with the unfairness of this situation. Is that all? Aizawa asked, knocking Shoto over once more. Humiliated, Shoto suddenly shouted. This is unfair. I do not understand what the point of this exercise is. You have the complete upper hand, and there's nothing I can do to defend myself. I'm wide open. Exactly, Aizawa said suddenly, ceasing his attacks. He stood there looking at Shoto as he deactivated his quirk and recalled his danger noodle strap. Now think about how you felt, being humiliated and unable to fight back. Think of how Yin felt up in front with the marks on her that she was forced to reveal. Go and apologise when you understand. Then he left the oval, leaving Shoto standing there with a lot to think about. Well, that took a little bit of a left turn. Will Shoto come and apologise? Is this the end of 50 Ways to Kiss? It's like a bloody daytime drama. Stay tuned for the next week's episode on Wednesday. See you then.